Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to see such a full chamber. I would like to welcome you all to the Arvada City Council meeting for today's date of July 1st, 2024. Before we move into our City Council meeting, we have need for a meeting of the Arvada Housing Advisory City, so I will go ahead and call that to order and ask Ms. Rush to do the roll call.
Chairperson Simpson?
Here.
Vice Chair Mormon?
Here.
Commissioner Ambrose?
Here.
Commissioner Davis?
Here.
Commissioner Foray?
Here.
Commissioner Pfeiffer?
Here.
Commissioner Marriott?
Here.
Thank you. Next, we have the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting dated March 18th, 2024. Are there any corrections to the record? Seeing none, those stand approved. Next, I will open public comment for the Arvada Housing Authority meeting. Do we have anyone in chambers this evening who would like to speak on those issues? Ms. Rush, do we have any on Zoom? Seeing none, I will close the public comment portion of the evening and open it to reports of the Secretary. Ms. Espinoza.
Thank you, Chairperson Simpson, Commissioners. First on the agenda tonight is the Arvada Housing Authority's annual report. And the annual report describes the activities and accomplishments of the Housing Authority from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th of 2024. I will start off by saying that we've had a successful year, a very successful year. We've spent over $7.7 million in rental assistance to serve 539 households. Last year, we spent about $6.6 million, so we're just a little over $1 million over what we spent last year. The demographics of who we serve is similar to prior years. The only real difference that we saw this year is that we continue to see an increase in the average per unit cost that we pay for each household in the program. Last year it was $1,092, and this year we saw an increase to $1,221, so a slight increase there.
I'm sorry, can you go back a slide? I did have a question about the slide.
Sure.
So down in the lower green box, can you walk through that a little bit? What does HCV stand for? And as I look through your slides, can you break down the numbers a little bit for me? Because I know, like the slide before, you had a total service of 539 households, and then I see these other numbers, and I just want to know how they relate.
Sure. So the green box on the slide is talking about the wait list, the Housing Choice Voucher Program wait list. That's the rental assistance program. We last opened the wait list for this program in 2021, and at that time, we received 963 applications. As of today, there's 126 households that still remain on that wait list, so we're still working through that wait list.
So that's over. So that bringing that 963 down is over a two and a half year period. Okay.
Correct.
And the number you showed in the previous slide of, what was it, 539 households getting rental assistance.
Correct.
That is just for this past year, correct?
That's right.
Ms. Espinoza, just to clarify, of those numbers that went from 900 some odd to 100 some odd, not all of them received assistance through Arvada. Many of them received assistance elsewhere, correct?
Yes, or they possibly refused assistance. They found assistance elsewhere. We don't quite know exactly what happens with some of the people on the wait list. Sometimes they don't return our phone calls or our correspondence to them, so we move on to the next person.
Thank you.
I would like to see, and you don't have to do it this evening, if you can point me a better breakdown of starting with that 963 and then how everything breaks down into who's getting assistance from Arvada and what programs and who's not, that sort of thing.
I don't know that we'll be able to give you all that information because
Okay.
sometimes we don't know.
Okay.
I can tell you if someone did not return our phone calls,
Okay.
if that's acceptable, but I don't always know the reason why.
Okay.
Also in that green box, it talks about the PBV waitlist. That is the project-based voucher waitlist. For those partnerships that we are involved with, such as Vance Street Flats, when Ralston Gardens opens later this year, we have vouchers dedicated to those projects. It's called a project-based voucher. And so we had to set up a separate wait list so people who were interested in living in those communities can apply and to receive a unit there. So we did open that list in December of 2023, and we're keeping it open right now to continue to allow it to build up. Right now, we do have 547 families on that list. Does that answer your questions, Commissioner Mormon?
I think so. Thank
Okay.
you.
On the next page, we included the new Arvada Housing Strategic Plan because the work that the Arvada Housing Authority strives for should align with the new strategic plan. So we included the various strategies that were recently adopted to make sure that, that the public knows that the work that we're doing is going to align with those strategies. Arvada continues to utilize its the Housing Authority continues to be a high-performing public housing authority. And each year we are required to submit a report to HUD. It's called the Section 8 Management Assessment Program Report. And this report measures our performance in a variety of areas such as income calculation accuracy, completing inspections on time, determining eligibility, et cetera. We continue to score very high on these performance measures, and HUD continues to see us as a high-performing housing authority. We also continue to maintain a high voucher utilization rate. The local Denver HUD office has taken notice of our high utilization. We're above 75% at this time with our voucher success, which is very high for a housing authority. And so they have taken notice of that, and we recently hosted a meeting with local and regional HUD officials who were curious to see what our best practices were for maintaining that high utilization. We also continue to utilize our vouchers to address some of the most vulnerable members of the community, including people experiencing homelessness. 38% of our new admissions over this last year were people experiencing homelessness upon admission. So that was approximately 17 households. As far as project-based vouchers, Vance Street Flats, the affordable housing project that opened in early 2024, that is our first development to utilize project-based vouchers, so we're very excited about this project. 7 formerly homeless individuals currently live at Vance Street Flats, and they continue to receive case management services from our housing navigator, and they will continue to do so over the years as long as they need that support. The Housing Authority also continues its efforts to encourage more affordable housing development. All of you are familiar with these projects up here, but we continue to be involved in the Cornerstone Legacy Project, Ralston Gardens, Marshall Homes, Habitat for Humanity, Arvada House, and Marshall Point. And the recommended activities for 2024 and 2025 include the efficient operation of the Housing Choice Voucher Program. We want to continue our partnerships with private and nonprofit developers to encourage construction or rehabilitation of affordable housing. We want to explore new opportunities for funding and partnerships, develop landlord recruitment strategies, support the implementation of the Arvada Housing Strategic Plan, and the implementation of HOTMA and Inspire. HOTMA and Inspire are 2 new programs that HUD is rolling out over the next year. One is going to offer efficiencies and streamlining some of the housing authority processes in terms of how we calculate rent or how often we have to calculate a household's rent. So we will follow the new guidance regarding HOTMA as that continues to roll out. And Inspire is a new inspection standards that are rolling out later this year. So we will continue our efforts to make sure we are in compliance there. And that is the end of the report. I'm happy to entertain any questions. And if there are no questions, I would recommend that the board make a motion to approve the annual report.
Councilmember Pfeiffer, you had your light on first?
Yeah, if there's not any questions, there might be some, but I'll make the motion if there's not.
I see no other lights. He took it down. So, Councilmember Pfeiffer, please.
I move that the Arvada Housing Authority annual report be approved.
All right. That motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much, Ms. Espinoza.
Great.
All right. Next, I will move to reports of committees.
Oh, I'm sorry. The next item, this is under the committees, but it's under new business. I apologize.
Oh, apologies, I have two other agenda items before we move into new business.
Okay.
No worries. Is there any additional reports from council or committees? Seeing none, I'll close that. Is there any unfinished business on this evening's agenda before we move into new business? Seeing none. Okay, now Ms. Espinoza, apologies for all the procedural. All right.
Apologies.
Next, we'll open new business, Arvada Housing Authority 23-24 annual report.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I went out of order, so that was the 2023-2024 annual report. So my apologies there. If you're okay with it, we'll move on to the 5-year plan.
Let's move into the 5-year plan. That
Okay.
sounds great.
Thank you. The Arvada Housing Authority must submit a 5-year PHA plan once every 5th Housing Authority fiscal year and an annual plan every year. The plan informs HUD residents and the public of strategies that address the needs of people served through the programs. The 5-year plan describes the Housing Authority's mission, goals, and objectives, and the annual plan covers policies and procedures. Both are official documents submitted to and reviewed by the local HUD office. The Arvada Housing Authority's current 5-year plan expires December 31st, 2024, and the Housing Authority must submit a new plan before the end of the year. The housing team has drafted the annual Housing Authority 2025 through 2029 plan for board approval. The new plan aligns and supports the vision and the housing strategies outlined in the city's comprehensive plan and the recently adopted Arvada Housing Strategic Plan. The Housing Authority Resident Advisory Board and the Arvada Housing Advisory Committee were both given an opportunity to provide feedback on the 5-year plan. I'm happy to entertain any questions that you may have and recommend that the board approve the 5-year plan.
Are there any questions from council? Councilmember Furray?
I'll make the motion.
Absolutely.
I recommend that the board approve the 5-year plan.
That vote passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Ms. Espinoza, the Housing Authority 2024 administrative plan updates.
Thank you. The Arvada Housing Authority must ensure compliance with federal laws, regulations, and notices that must establish policy and procedures to clarify federal requirements and to ensure consistency in the Housing Choice Voucher Program operation. The Housing Authority's Housing Choice Voucher Program administrative plan contains the Housing Authority's policies and procedures. The majority of the revisions to the administrative plan are mandated by HUD to ensure compliance with new laws and federal standards. On July 7th, 2023, HUD published the National Standards for the Physical Inspections of Real Estate, or INSPIRE, which is the new standard for completing housing inspections and replacing the Housing Quality Standards model. All PHAs are required to implement the new INSPIRE model no later than October 1st of 2024. There is a correction to that. They have now extended that to October of 2025, so we have a little bit more time. But we already did the work revising the administrative plan, so we decided to move forward and ask for approval of the administrative plan updates. So with that, I recommend that the board approve the 2024 administrative plan updates to the Housing Choice Voucher Plan.
Excellent. Thank you. Councilmember Davis.
If there are no questions, I'd like to make a motion.
All yours.
I would move that we accept the changes to the 2024 plan.
That motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Next, R-HA-2402, a resolution approving an agreement by and between the Arvada Housing Authority and Robert Gowan's Home Inspections for inspection services for the Housing Choice Voucher Program in an amount not to exceed $20,000 in the first year. Ms. Espinoza, I assume you have this one as well?
I do, thank you. So this agenda item is related to inspections of housing units subsidized through the Housing Choice Voucher Program. Federal regulations set forth basic housing quality standards, which units must meet before assistance can be paid on behalf of a family and at least biennially throughout the term of assisted tenancy. HQS defined standard housing and established the minimum criteria for health and safety for all program participants. Current HQS regulations consist of 13 key aspects of housing quality, performance requirements, and acceptability criteria to meet each performance requirement. These inspections are required for all housing types, including single and multi-family dwelling units, as well as specific requirements for special housing types such as manufactured homes, congregate housing, single-room occupancy, shared housing, and group residences. On March 8, 2024, Arvada issued a request for proposal for a housing inspector for the Housing Choice Voucher Program, which is our RFP 24-CED-033, seeking responses from qualified entities to provide inspection services. On March 25, 2024, Robert Gowen's Home Inspection submitted a proposal for services. The city team has determined that Robert Gowen's Home Inspections has the requisite background, skill, expertise, and insurance to provide the requested services as required. The housing team recommends approval of this resolution.
Mayor Pro Tem Mormon.
I would be happy to make the motion.
I see no other lights.
I move that R-HA-24-02, a resolution approving an agreement by and between the Arvada Housing Authority and Robert Gowen's Home Inspections for inspection services for the Housing Choice Voucher Program in an amount not to exceed $20,000 in the fiscal year be approved.
All right, all votes are cast. That motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much. And our last item on the Housing Authority agenda is R-HA-24-03, a resolution authorizing the Arvada Housing Authority to enter into the First Amendment to amended and restated limited liability limited partnership agreement for the Vance Street Flats development. Ms. Espinoza.
Thank you. Vance Street Flats is a 50-unit affordable housing development at 5854 Vance Street. The Arvada Housing Authority is a special limited partner in the project, and we also committed 7 housing choice vouchers to the site with the preference that the vouchers be used for persons experiencing homelessness. Services for these vouchers are provided by the Arvada Housing Navigator. On June 27, 2022, the Arvada Housing Authority approved Resolution RHA 22-03, authorizing the authority to enter into an agreement to become a special limited partner, as well as enter into an agreement for housing assistance payments to authorize the 7 housing choice vouchers at the site. On August 15, 2022, the Arvada Housing Authority approved an amended partnership agreement to include the agreement for housing assistance payments to be used as collateral and transferred to Wells Fargo in the event of default. Medici Development, LLC requests another revision to the limited partnership agreement to correct a misstated developer fee in the limited partnership agreement, which decreases the total developer fee payable to Medici Development. The investment partner, Wells Fargo, is also requesting the implementation of mandatory form changes related to anti-corruption and anti-money laundering laws and the Corporate Transparency Act. Our legal team has reviewed the proposed changes and does not have concerns. The housing team recommends approval of this resolution.
Councilmember Ambrose.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Yes, Councilmember Marriott, you have a question?
Has the developer fee been paid yet?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Where does it come from? Comes out of the financing piece, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And if in reading the material, it appears they get paid in pieces as they go along?
It depends on the contract, but my understanding is that it will be years before they receive the developer fee, if it's a deferred developer fee. I would have to go back to the pro forma to check that.
I think it gave a schedule in here
Did it?
that would appear to me that it's all been paid. I think if you look at Exhibit A, fee schedule,
Oh, you're correct, yes.
okay, so it's all been paid.
According to this, yes, it would have been paid.
And is the amount that's been paid the $2 million or the $1.8 million?
I don't know.
Okay, all right.
I can follow up with Medici and find out for you.
What, what is this fee, what does it include? What's it pay for? What's it for?
Well, the developer fee is paid to the developer. It's their payment for developing the property.
Profit on,
Yeah.
profit? Okay, all right. Let me ask you another question. So last year, we entered into a limited partnership for the purposes of avoiding this project having to pay sales tax or property tax, correct? Okay. Can you let us know approximately how much that has amounted to? How much property tax was not paid on the materials to build the project, and also how much annual property tax is not being paid because of our participation?
Sure, I can find that out for you.
Okay. You don't know what it is, but you can find out.
I don't know what it is.
Okay.
But I can I can talk to the developer to find out.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Ambrose, you have the motion.
Great. I move that RHA-24-03, a resolution authorizing the Arvada Housing Authority to enter into the First Amendment to be amended and restated limited liability partnership for the Vance Street Flats development to be approved.
All right, all votes are cast. That motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much, Ms.
Thank you.
Espinoza. All right, we have no further business with the Arvada Housing Authority, so I will close that meeting and open tonight's City Council meeting for the date of July 1st, 2024. First, I will call upon Councilmember Davis for a moment of reflection and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mayor. Please join me in a moment of reflection. Now join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. No, saying.
Y'all don't want to hear us sing it, trust me. All right, and with that, Ms. Rush, if you'll do the roll call of the council.
Mayor Simpson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mormon.
Here.
Councilmember Ambrose.
Here.
Councilmember Davis.
Here.
Councilmember Foray.
Here.
Councilmember Pfeiffer.
Here.
Councilmember Marriott.
Here.
Thank you so much. We have approval of the minutes for the meetings dated June 17th, 24 and June 24th, 2024. Seeing no corrections, those stand approved. And next we have recognitions and communications. This is our proclamation for National Park and Recreation Month, and that will be presented by Councilmember Sharon Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm excited about this. Whereas Parks and Recreation is an integral part of communities throughout this country, including the state of Colorado and the city of Arvada, and Parks and Recreation promotes health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks, and promotes time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being, and alleviating illnesses such as depression, attention deficit disorders, and Alzheimer's. And whereas Parks and Recreation encourages physical activities by providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles, and is a leading provider of healthy meals, nutrition services, and education. And whereas Park and Recreation programming and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are crucial to childhood development, and Parks and Recreation increases a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, and increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas Parks and Recreation is fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community and is an essential and adaptable infrastructure that makes our communities resilient in the face of natural disasters and climate change. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the biological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the mayor and the city council of the city of Arvada, Colorado, that the city recognizes the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources and proclaims that the month of July 2024 be designated as Parks and Recreation Month, dated this date, first day of July 2024.
Thank you. I see our friends from Apex here if they'd like to come up to accept this. Is there anyone else here for this particular award? No. Come on, Apex. Vicky, Joe, come on. We see you up there. Katie. Melanie.
I think Jeff wants to say a few words, and then we have a lot of folks here. We're going to get a great big picture to celebrate. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you, members of council. I'm just honored to accept this proclamation tonight in celebration alongside my partner, Jeff Glenn from Apex Park and Recreation District. Arvada is a really special place. In my role, I hear on a daily basis from our residents about the importance of parks and recreation to Arvadans' quality of life. So we really are special. We value parks and rec as something important. It's what makes us Arvada in many ways. So if you look behind me, many of the skilled and dedicated team members who are responsible for making our park system special are here with us tonight. So you'll see team members from parks maintenance, urban design, forestry, environmental education, arts and culture, and events. These are really the people who make the magic happen. Acknowledging and celebrating the hardworking people who make our community great is one of the most fulfilling aspects of my job, and I'm grateful for the chance to thank these people publicly. So thank you for being here. National Park and Recreation Month is a time for us to recognize the hundreds of full-time parks and recreation professionals, along with the many part-time and seasonal workers and volunteers who maintain our parks and facilities here in Arvada. And there's a lot to maintain. So we have over 100 parks in Arvada, and we're proud to say that 96% of Arvada residents live within a 10-minute walk of a park. This is one of the highest rates of park access in the country, so that it really is something exceptional. The services that parks and recreation professionals provide are vital to our community, from protecting open spaces and natural resources to helping fight obesity, strengthening the mental health of our community members, and providing activities and resources for all people. It really is a privilege to work alongside this team of dedicated and skilled parks and recreation professionals at the City of Arvada and at Apex Park and Recreation District, and I really am a true believer in the power of parks and open space for nourishing the human soul. So thank you again for celebrating with us for the entire month of July, and I will turn it over to Jeff.
Thank you, Anessa. On behalf of the Apex Board of Directors, which we have 3 members here tonight, and the staff at Apex, I want to thank you very much for this recognition, and want you to know how much we appreciate every day working with your staff and the ability for us to access your amazing facilities to provide for our community. So thank you all very much. We appreciate it, and we look forward to years of working together.
Thank you. We're going to humbly impress upon everyone for a group photo, and I got to say, I'm very excited that we have a very large group here. Welcome, Parks team.
Do you want to do it?
So,
well, we want to get.
If you don't want to be in the photo, you don't have to be. But if you're willing to be in the photo, come on, let's make it a good one.
You get in, I'll take it. You go.
No. Here, look, she can take it, Katie. Look, you take it. Katie, she can take it for us. You might have to go that way. Yeah, stand next to him.
All right. Thank you, everybody. That was a lot of fun. We don't usually get to do big group photos like that, so we enjoyed it. Parks makes everyone happy. And we all got some new sunglasses courtesy of Apex. Thank you. All right. We have no presentations for this evening, so I will move us into public comment for issues not scheduled on the agenda. I have one member in chambers who has signed up, Brandon Figliolino. Welcome, Mr. Figliolino, and I will quickly ask you to state your full name and address for the record and to keep all comments directed at us at the council and not to other folks that may be in the chambers.
Absolutely. Good evening, council. My name is Brandon Figliolino. I live at 7635 Barbara Ann Drive here in Arvada. I am just here tonight as a frequent parks user to recognize the hard work of the city team and especially the Park Advisory Committee on their holistic health project. I thought that the engagement that they did to come up with a name was really thoughtful and a great way to connect the community together. And I look forward to enjoying the Serenity Ridge Park when it opens in a couple of weeks, hopefully. Thank you so much for your time and have a great evening.
Thank you so much. We all look forward to Serenity Ridge as well. All right, thank you. Is there anyone else in chambers this evening who would like to give public comment on issues not on the agenda? Seeing none, Ms. Rush, do we have any on Zoom? Seeing none, I will close the public comment portion of this evening's agenda. We did have one item on the consent agenda. However, we have removed that item so that we can continue negotiations with our partners on financial responsibilities for that potential project. And then I will move us into resolutions. So I will open the hearing for R24-069, a resolution authorizing the naming of the new city park located at 10275 West 55th Avenue, Arvada, Colorado 80002. Our presenter is Dr. Inessa Janes, Director of Vibrant Communities and Neighborhoods.
Thank you, Mayor. The City of Arvada is currently constructing a new park at 10275 West 55th Avenue. Construction is progressing on schedule, and the city team expects the park to be complete by the end of July 2024. At the direction of the Arvada City Council, the Arvada Parks Advisory Committee initiated the park naming process, including community engagement, and presented a list of proposed park names for the council to consider during a workshop on June 17th. During the workshop, members of the Arvada Park Advisory Committee requested the council's feedback on the proposed names. This resolution will determine the name of the new park. This project aligns with the goals of activating parks, trails, and open spaces, providing new parks and improvements to existing parks, and encouraging access to healthy living for all, as outlined in the city's 2016 Parks, Trails, and Open Space Master Plan. 3 names were put forward by the Parks Advisory Committee. Alternative 1 was Serenity Ridge Park, Alternative 2, Wellness Circle Park, and Alternative 3, Snow Peaks Overlook Park. The Arvada team recommends that the City Council approve Alternative 1, Serenity Ridge Park.
Thank you very much, Ms. Janes. I'll open it for council comment or action. Councilmember Pfeiffer.
Since this park's in District 3, you want to, John? No? Okay. I move that Resolution 24-069, a resolution authorizing the naming of the new city park located at 10275 West 55th Avenue, Arvada, Colorado, 8002, be approved.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem Mormon.
I just wanted to add a really quick comment. I appreciate Dr. Janes and your team work on this project. I'm very excited not only about the new name, which I think is a great name for the park, but just all the work that's gone into designing this park. It's a special, different kind of park than we've ever had before, and I think that innovative approach that you and your team have brought, I really appreciate, and I'm excited for the grand opening when we have it of the new park, so thank you.
I certainly second that, Dr. Janes. It's going to be an excellent amenity in the community. So with that, that motion passes 7-0. Congratulations, we have Serenity Ridge Park. All right. With that, Mayor Pro Tem, and I'll call upon you for our first reading. Here. My computer wasn't working.
I move CB 24-008, an ordinance rezoning certain land within the city of Arvada, Lot 1 and Lot 2, Block 2, Candelas Commercial Filing Number 2, otherwise known as Candelas Point, from PUD Planned Unit Development to CG Commercial General, and amending the official zoning maps of the city of Arvada, Colorado, generally located on the south side of Candelas Parkway between Wilkerson Court and West 92nd Drive. Public hearing to be set for July 15th, 2024 at 6:15 p.m. I feel like I need to say something else, don't I? To be read in full. Do I need to say anything else?
They will be read, well, not read in full, but published.
Thank you. To be published in full? Thank you.
All right, all votes are cast. That passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Next, we have an appointment to our Human Services Advisory Committee, and I will call upon Councilmember Foray.
Thank you. I move to appoint Allison Harmon to an unexpired term ending 4/30/2026.
All right, if council will cast their votes. All right, that motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much, and congratulations to our new appointee. Next, we have no public hearings this evening. We have our 5-minute public comment portion for items not on this evening's agenda. Is there anyone in chambers who would like to present non-public comment? Seeing none, and none on Zoom, I will close the second public comment, and I will open it to City Council for reports from committees and other events. All right, seeing none, I will turn it over to Ms. Gillis. Is there any reports from the city manager this evening?
Members of council, just a reminder, next Monday you'll receive a presentation on homelessness strategic planning. Prior to that, you'll be doing some team building, going through some personalities and strengths. And then you will have a workshop on stormwater regulatory update, which is going to be really great, from Jacob Moyer.
Thank you very much. And reports from the city attorney.
Nothing from me, Your Honor.
All right, with that, we stand adjourned.